Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
All right, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. This is episode beta 6, 0xb6. This is the 183rd episode of Super Happy Dragon Lucky. Reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice, and stay tuned after the updates for the weekly AMA. First off, in current events, a key hearing took place yesterday in the remedies stage of the SEC versus library case. And it was interesting. I haven't got to watch the whole thing. I've seen some clips or listened to it, that the judge was able to get the SEC to admit that secondary sales of a token were not a security. So interesting stuff, and some really interesting commentary by Deaton as well within there. So you can pay attention to that because it's important for the industry and for everything. So next we go to Dragonchain updates. So Super Happy Dragon Lucky had a lot distribution, NFTs for ownership of and governance of the show. Last week there were 422 lot created. There were 2 questions or topics for 42 lot each, and there were 3 featured posts, each of which will receive 42 lot. The host also received 42 lot, and Dragonchain received 169 lot. Also with Dragonchain, there was a new blog entry. In case you missed it, sorry, an older one. Comprehensive data integrity with smart contract gated data access. I think we put this out a week or 2 ago. Essentially, very interesting stuff. And when we talk to people about it, it does seem to capture some interest, that we're allowing you to change your encryption algorithms and even have custom integrations for your data security. But by putting this gated data access with a smart contract, it allows an organization to see all access on that data, including reads, so that you could essentially see an entire history of how that data developed over time, if there were additions, if there were new taggings, if even if it's deleted, that everything's on chain. So you have the ability to really have a lot more valuable insight into what's going on with your data. You can monetize it. You can do all types of interesting things. But the fact that it has to go through smart contract to decrypt it and to access it is very clean and very powerful. So anyway, check that out. Share it if you can. And now we'll go to Den.Social updates. So we have the layer creation process for February will begin next Tuesday. With a week to make new proposals. So check the current list, see if there's anything you think that should make a good layer. with existing communities or something missing on all of the content, and make the proposal next week. Next, on Coffee with Den, airing tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard. Everyone who participates in the show will earn Coffee with Den a lot. And this week, Dave is planning to review posts in Den. Then DenDAO updates. There were new results. 2 votes. The first, that all subscribers will be automatically subscribed. Sorry, all denizens will be automatically subscribed to new LCP layers. So it'll be an interesting thing because those new layers should get more attention. And the other thing was that we're going to, we had a vote on whether or not to make automatic subscription to LCP layers retroactive. That is, essentially, you will be subscribed to all of the LCP layers, unless you have already unsubscribed from them. Like if you joined them and left them, it probably won't subscribe you to them. If we can make that happen, I think we can. But essentially, you'll get all of those. You'll see a lot more content. And it passed because that was the question: is it going to be too much content? But you can very easily unsubscribe from a layer. You just click on a link to a post that you don't really want to see or something, and you can up in the upper right corner of the page, you'll see an unsubscribe button for the layer. So you'll get out of it if you want. And essentially, it was just because there was an obvious problem where if people are not watching everything and paying attention every month, it's very easy to forget that the LCP finished and that there might be some layer community that would be worth joining. I do it all the time. I have to proactively go in there and subscribe to them because if I'm busy that day or something, I a lot of times will be out for a week or two, not even know what's going on. So anyway, that should be interesting. And make sure you join us for the weekly DenDAO call on Thursday, February 2 at 3 Eastern, 8 p.m. UTC, and watch for the post in the DenDAO layer for the agenda. Also, a link to join live, and in that post, you can also make any suggestions for things to add to the agenda to cover. So everyone's welcome to join. You don't even have to have your camera on. It's just a meeting, so come to it if you can. It's usually really useful to get verbal discussions going. We can learn a lot really fast. So next, we'll go to the World Blockchain Roundtable updates. There was a World Blockchain Roundtable DAO vote for February themes. And I think there were 13 or something available choices. And the results were: first, weaponizing blockchains to fight against tyranny. That's really good. Next, censorship resistant, decentralized cloud computing using blockchain. Third, pros and cons of state governments leveraging blockchain. And fourth, the role of oracles. So should be a great set of shows in February. So make sure you join those. And if you have any ideas, make some suggestions in the DAO to change how we do things. It would be fun to change some things up. So next, make sure you watch and share last week's episode, which was the subject was megatexas.eth. The more views it gets in the first week, the more lot all the participants will get. So make sure you share it, watch it. Episode 89 will be airing this Thursday, February 2 at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, U.S. time, Standard Time. And the topic is weaponizing blockchains to fight against tyranny. So it'll be the first February episode, which will be fun. Make sure you leave a question or a subject to discuss about tyranny or about questions about how things could be solved, or how blockchain could at least play a role in the solution to certain problems with tyranny. So anyway, should be pretty good. So that's all of the updates. We'll have an AMA right after this.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at Dragonchain.com, America's blockchain.
All right, so we bring up the post, we refresh it. I'm doing it local also, so I can read it. Very small on my screen up there. Okay, so first question from Oxans. He asks a lot of questions, almost always really good questions. He or she, I've never met this person. Have you thought about an update of Eternal Report? Copyrights have not been updated since 2020. What about a functionality update? It would be great to see a timeline with the latest records on the blockchain. The single use of transactions is very individual. If you lose or refer transaction code, you lose access to the content recorded on the blockchain. True. Maybe a paying user has a profile where to see the recorded content. Still not many references to it on Eternal's own website. Yes, these are excellent ideas, and we have a list of things that we're wanting to do with it. Frankly, we're looking to figure out budgeting, and or funding to further develop it, to productize it. We made a crack at productizing it a couple of years back, and we solved a few things, but it was obvious that it needed more attention. So we kind of rolled back and left it as it was. It's interesting because the bot that's on Twitter isn't even ours. I can't remember who built it, but thank you so much for doing it. It's awesome. But we would like to add extra functionality, and maybe we could even work with them to do that. But some things, for example, and there is a question of what would be free, what would be paid. And for instance, let's say with a paid account, you can, and we had this before, that you can sign with a known public key, with a registered public key. You can sign a tweet or sign a message that can then be posted on Facebook or in email or wherever else, but it's on chain and signed, and the whole thing would be kind of together. You'd be able to copy out of it. That's one thing. Being able to capture full threads on Twitter, for example, or elsewhere. And then there's a lot of other really interesting stuff, including, potentially exactly what you're talking about, that you would be able to maybe hold certain posts on Eternal private, and then if you were not paying, then everything would be public, right? Stuff like that. So a little benefit to paying. And there's a lot more to it than that too. There's a project that we're likely to spin all of the tech out into, that is looking at building a much better archival system that would fall direct into line with what you're talking about. So if you're interested, or anyone else is interested in helping out, ping us, because those are the things that need to be built, frankly, in the coming world. And we've seen it. There's tons of censorship that's starting, and it's just getting worse. And this is one of those things that is a weapon against tyranny, frankly. So we really need to productize it and improve it. And yeah, it'd be great if we could make some money on it, right, with it. So anyway, and there's a couple of other interesting things, even involving NFTs and stuff like that kind of plug into it. So anyway, great question. Thank you, Oxans. I voted at it when it went up. In fact, I voted all of them up reasonably high in this, I do believe. So, okay, next we have IM4IM. Always excellent questions. Imagine speaking to a full room of people that wanted to learn about Den and have never heard of Den before. What would you say to invite them and encourage them to become new denizens? Please give a 30-second or 2-minute elevator pitch on why someone should become a denizen. Everybody knows that I'm probably the worst at elevator pitches. I tend to be a little long-winded, so I'll give my best. I think knowing that they're in a room and it's full, and that they want to learn about Den, right? So they've come to learn about Den, is helpful. rather than just being a bunch of random people, sitting in a restaurant or something. So the first thing I'd probably say is, look, it's an experimental platform, right? Because they're interested in learning about Den. That's something that they need to understand about culturally about how it works. The platform is focused on behavior. It's not like Facebook or something else where it's focused on advertising. Essentially, this is focused on behavior, and the behavior that we're calling out is the curating of content as quickly as possible. So within a community, it trains the community members to rank the signal. What is the best content? What is the worst content for their interests, to generate consensus and to do it as quickly as possible, because all the rewards are based upon who is giving the right answer first, right? And we've seen it even work with a very small number of users. The number of denizens is extremely low compared to other platforms, but you can look at our behavior AI, is what Dragonchain calls it, compared to Facebook or Twitter, and as to showing what is at least the good content that is available on the platform. And another thing that's interesting that might, and I'm going way over my 2 minutes, I'm sure. Another thing that's very interesting about it is that it tends to attenuate or to lessen the effect of drama or trolling. Now, I don't say controversy, because controversy does tend to get a lot of action and a lot of replies and a lot of energy, but it's always controversy about ideas or topics or maybe even semantics, but the things that tend to be more trolling or name calling stuff, things like that, tend to get pushed way down, depending on your view into the system. So those are the probably 4 things that I would probably point to first, and maybe the difference in crowd might change how you would lay those out. But I don't know. I think it's a pretty powerful tech, and we can demonstrate that. And there are of course issues with everything, and that's why it's an experimental system, but it's pretty cool. So great question. And the last question is, it was essentially marked as abusive. And I will tell you, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember. Oh, it's Trogdor. I would tell you, I would willingly answer it. Just you need to just cut back on the trolling stuff, right? So we'll just not answer today, but maybe come back and ask it politely, and we'll answer. Anyway, so that is all of the AMA. And we have no featured content this week, but we have merch. So it is still Mugs Month for a couple of days. I don't know what next month's going to be. So it's the last day. Is it today? Today is the last day to grab a mug. The coupon code is dragonchain.mugs for 10% off this month until the end of the day. So that's it. Go get some. Make sure you watch us again next Tuesday, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. UTC, and make sure you watch the World Blockchain Roundtable Thursday at 11. Follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, Jojo Row. Make sure you like, comment, and share. That's it. Thank you.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.